Okay, hey everybody. I'm going to be doing something a little different. I'm going to be doing a video about Gary Hirte. He murdered Glenn Kasanovic in 2003, just as he said, to see if he could get away with it. He later said that it was a gay panic type thing, but we'll get into that later. That was the insanity plea that his lawyers tried to pull. He was defended by the guy who defended Jeffrey Dahmer, by the way. But we'll get into that in a minute. Anyway, to start this off, again, he murdered somebody to see if he could get away with it. And he apparently was a super achiever. He was 17 years old when he was arrested. Maybe he was 18. But anyway, he was convicted at 19. But anyway, what happened is that he was just a superstar. He was the second in his class. He was salutatorian, second in his class. He was a twice all-conference football player. He was the first Eagle Scout in his little Wisconsin town, which name I cannot pronounce, in about 20 years. He also had a pretty decent wrestling career. I think it was something like 25 wins to 10 losses, which is not bad. But that being said, interestingly enough, one of his friends said he quit wrestling because he found it to be too violent. So yeah, he was an overachiever, Eagle Scout, twice all-conference football player, and second in his high school class. Oh yeah, and he won a scholarship. I'm pretty sure it was it was a full scholarship to St. Cloud University in Minnesota, where he wanted to study criminal justice. Anyway, in 2003, he entered the home, he lived in a little town. It was something like 1,800 people. He entered the home, this deserted home out in the middle of nowhere where Glenn Klubeck lived. Well, Kasanovic. And he probably woke him up and he shot him with a 12-gauge shotgun. And he was then stabbed him twice, and took his car keys as a trophy. Not only that, what eventually happened is he ended up getting caught after he started talking about, the murder, which is how a lot of people get caught. They talk about it to people, they brag about it and things like that. And well, at least he wasn't stupid enough to make a video and post it on social media. But then again, they didn't really have social media. Social media was still in its very early stages back then. And but hey, at least he wasn't stupid enough to make a video. But anyway, there have been cases like this before. I mean, and what we have here is potentially a serial killer in the making, because people such as Jeffrey Dahmer, several serial killers such as Jeffrey Dahmer and Gary Ridgway, killed like a single person years before they began their bigger spree, like their actual killing spree of just going around killing one person here, one person there, one person there. It's basically, and even Andre Chikatilo, he didn't kill him. After his first kill, he didn't kill you for like 2 years. And then he began a rampage. And there have been several people who have killed, who've committed murder simply because they wanted to see what it felt like. And they later become addicted to it. That being said, was he a serial killer in the making? Potentially. because, I mean, he might have thought it was thrilling. He was clearly very proud of it. And, you know, but this guy, he did it to see if he could outsmart investigators. I mean, he succeeded at pretty much everything he tried except this. And, anyway, what happened is, interestingly enough, he was in school, and the principal summoned him to his office, and he was arrested. This was after his girlfriend at the time turned him in because she was afraid, I think, said something like she was afraid that he would kill himself out of remorse for having killed Glenn Kuzbetsky, for having killed this man. And Glenn Kuzbetsky, I have trouble pronouncing his name. He was a loner. He was adopted by his parents. He didn't really fit well into society. And, you know, he was a loner. He never married or anything like that, never had kids, and was known as the town eccentric. And, but that leaves the question. The story is no isolated incident, but it's just so sensational because because Gary Hirte was a super achiever, and when you hear like he did all this amazing stuff and just was this over-the-top golden boy who effortlessly overachieved and succeeded in everything he did, it kind of makes you go like this, face palm, you know what I mean? Because he threw all that away, and now he's in prison for 32 years to life after his gay panic defense was rejected. And anyway, the judge was kind of like, you know, you were quite an achiever, and it seems like you had a good heart at times, but it kind of ends here. And guess what? It did end there. Anyway, what drove him to do this? I think his previous record of overachievement had just been, and interestingly enough, the day before he was arrested, his high school announced that he had just won that big-ass scholarship to St. Cloud University. And, anyway, he succeeded in not only destroying his victim's life, but his own life as a result. And I have noticed that a lot of overachievers superachievers do tend to fuck their lives up by doing stupid shit. Like, I knew a girl actually did a few videos, did 2 videos about dating a drug addict. She was amazing. Her records in school were just in sports and athletics and you name it, she succeeded in everything. And at some point in her life, she just decided, you know what? I want to try heroin, and bye-bye. And overachievement is a sign of a mental disorder in itself, not necessarily confirmation, not at all, but it can be a sign of feelings of inadequacy and things like that, because they feel like they have to be push themselves over and over and over again to succeed. And he probably had like a superiority complex going to where he had the arrogance to think that, you know, he was smarter than everybody else and better. And a lot of them, he might have done it subconsciously for validation. Like, you know, here are all these, you know, detectives, psychologists, forensic psychologists, and policemen who are educated and all this stuff, and it just proves to him how extraordinary he is because he can triumph over all of them. And it was a very sloppy thing. I mean, he left the body there. He took the car keys as a souvenir, which was found when the police searched his home. He talked on the phone about it. I mean, telling people he did it is stupid enough, but talking on the phone, that's really stupid. But again, at least he didn't make a video or anything like that. But yeah, he's currently rotting in jail. Well, in prison. I keep wanting to say jail, but he's rotting in prison. And we'll be there, and at least until, let's see here. He'll be there at least in 2035, because his sentence is 32 years to life, and and all that's the jazz. So he'll be there until the 2030s at bare minimum. And, some people go, oh, that's sad, he fucked his life up. I'm like, yeah, right. A serial killer may have been stopped here and you're sad about that. I'm not. Not at all. And, anyway, I thank you all for watching. Check out my other videos. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you can, leave a donation. It's for a good cause. See y'all later.